All right, welcome back to another edition of the Dirty Verdict Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Peter Taaffe.
I'm your other host, Kyle Herbert.
And I'm your third host, full-time litigator, Bill Ogden.
So, Kyle, you have invited a guest, so I'm going to let you take the floor to introduce our very esteemed guest.
Thank you so much, Peter. Our guest tonight is Michelle Acosta from Houston, Texas.
Hello.
Michelle, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for the invite.
You're an attorney, correct?
Correct.
Tell me what area of law you
Why are
practice.
you cross-examining her? Hey, tell us about what you do.
State your name.
Well, I'm a personal injury attorney. I like to advocate for people that need someone to speak up for them.
So you are here tonight not only as an attorney, but as a litigant. You had a great result in a case where you were actually a party, which is not something we normally get to deal with here on the Dirty Verdict. So thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
Before we dive into the substance of the case you were involved in, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Why'd you decide to be a lawyer? What kind of law you practice? Give us that.
Well, that's actually a loaded question for me.
Okay.
So I believe everyone's on their own timeline, but I didn't go to law school until I was almost 30.
You went to law school 1 year ago? How'd you finish so fast?
That's the exact same thing I was going to say.
Why, thank you. Y'all.
Some of us are quicker and more clever.
But I actually I had my first daughter, and when she was 3, I finally decided that maybe I was capable of going to law school.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and it was something I always wanted to do growing up. I just didn't have the confidence.
You started law school with a 3-year-old?
Yes.
Wait, some kind of masochist?
Yes.
But so, where are you from originally?
Another loaded question. Born in El Paso, but my dad was a U.S. diplomat, so I grew up all over the place. I lived in El Paso, Harlingen, Manila, Philippines for 6 years, Monterrey, Mexico for 1.5 years, Ciudad Juarez for 3 years, Mexico City 2 years, San Antonio for 1 year, and then I moved to Houston in 2002.
You know, Bill has lived his entire life in Deer Park.
Ish. Yeah, that's actually not terrible. I mean, within a 20-mile radius.
Very similar life experience.
Is it true what they say about El Paso, that it's Spanish for the Paso? Just saying, I heard it once.
He's an idiot. We rarely let him out of a case.
All right, so college and law school?
Wait, back up. Why did you live so many places? I mean, that's Manila, just Mexico City.
She already said her dad was a race car driver.
That's true.
Polo player, professional, part-time model, full-time polo player.
He was a diplomat, and I have a friend who's moved around a lot, and he's in security. He's a security consultant.
He's definitely not in the CIA.
Works for the State Department. He got totally jacked, and he's got kids, but he goes on to treks for a long time. Like,
Tell us some more about his body.
yeah, he's like 65 years old.
Right, he's these two.
Oh, one of those.
It's funny that y'all say that because my dad is actually the most highly accredited undercover Border Patrol agent
Oh, really?
in all of Border Patrol history. They don't have undercover Border Patrol agents anymore. And he wrote 3 books that were published. The first one is Deep in the Shadows, is published by Simon & Schuster. And then his next one was The Hunt for Mansing. And the first one was The Shadowcatcher. The last one was Deep in the Shadows.
Jeez.
What's your dad's name?
Hipólito Acosta.
Okay.
Are you allowed to tell us his real name?
Hipólito.
Yep, that's what just say.
Find them on Amazon.
You can find them on Amazon.
Which is the best one? Because I'm going to read one.
Oh,
But I might read all 3.
they're all good. You know, the best thing actually is being able to have a drink with my dad. Because
Can we do that?
absolutely.
Okay. Bill?
I'll wear a disguise. I have a fake mustache.
Hold on. That's not a fake mustache?
Nope, it's all natural, just like Trump's hair.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to college. I started UTSA, and then I moved over to Houston in 2002.
Okay.
I went to Kingwood College. I ended up going to U of H, and then I graduated from U of H downtown.
What brought you to Houston?
My parents, they moved up from Mexico City.
Gotcha. What did you think of Mexico City?
I loved it.
I love Mexico City. It's awesome.
Loved it.
The altitude's a little bit of an adjustment for me. I just started breathing really heavily, going up like 3 stairs. But other than that, I loved it.
He also smokes 3 packs a day.
Well, so does everyone in Mexico.
That's why it's the greatest country on earth.
Thank you. Well, except for when they technically owned Texas and then Texas became a country. We're not going to get into it.
So, Michelle, between college and then you started law school when you were 30, you said? Okay, so what did you do in between those two?
So,
Unless it's something really embarrassing, then you have to tell us.
okay, so my story is kind of crazy. It's I had to take a little break from school because I was the victim of an aggravated assault when I was 21, and someone slit my throat. And so I kind of...
Was this someone you knew or like a random crime?
It was a random crime
Oh, in the U.S.?
I'm glad you're okay.
in Kingwood.
We're in Kingwood.
How old was your Venus up?
21?
21.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy. I've lived in some of the most dangerous cities in the world.
Yeah, Wolf.
This is Mexico City, and this happened in Kingwood. So I took a little break from the public for a little while, and then I eventually went back to school slowly, gradually, and that's kind of what took up a lot of my time.
Sure.
I can imagine.
And then where law school, where?
I started at Thurgood Marshall, and then I transferred over to South Texas, and that's where I graduated in 2015.
How does the transfer work in law school? I actually don't know. Do you go for 1 year or 2 years and then transfer? Or how long are you there before transfer?
I transferred after the first year,
Okay.
but if you transfer after the second year, you lose that entire second year.
What? Why would you ever transfer?
Some people do. I do know some people that transferred after their second year of law school because they wanted to attend a different
So badly that they were like, let's do that second one again.
much so, yes.
The second year is fun, though.
She went to the Harvard of Houston, of downtown Houston. She transferred there.
Peter Fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I understand why you transferred to the South Texas College of Law.
Well, they're
at
daycare
Houston.
across the street.
Yep. Every day I would park my car and I would walk by and just stare at children on my way into class every day. It was weird.
So when you got out of law school, what did you do?
When I got out of law school, I decided to have another baby.
Okay.
I did. So that happened.
Settle down, fertile myrtle. You know, law school's a lot easier if you don't have like 2 kids.
It's right that.
No, keep that in. I want the world to see him for what he is. No.
Yeah, you're not the first one to call.
How many kids do you have now?
I have 2.
Just the 2.
Just the 2.
You just decided to have them during the most stressful period of your life.
She
I
had
had earlier, apparently I like pain.
Masochist.
Hold on. Maybe I put the cart before the horse. Do you know where babies come from?
Storks. The big birds.
a lot of Kyle getting edited out today.
I'm just saying.
Okay, so
Jesus.
okay, so keep it at all child, and then you go into the practice.
Once I took the bar, I passed in 2017, and I started working for a company called ABC Professional Tree Services. They handle vegetation management across the nation for...
It's kind of like Davy Tree type thing?
Exactly, like
Gotcha.
trees. So for utilities, municipalities, and their general counsel position had been vacant for 3 years. And so prior to me getting my results, I was working in their claims department. And I just asked them, I said, let me do a presentation and see if I can fill the role of the general counsel position. I'll save you money and what you're paying right now in claims. I'll basically pay for my own salary. And I did.
What? Your first job was GC?
But you helped them trim the budget.
I see what you did there.
Because before that, they were stumped.
Oh my gosh, stop it. Get off the gas. How long were you general counsel of ABC?
For about 5 years.
Okay, so that takes you to what, 22?
21, just before. And then I switched over to PI. I started working for a law firm, a small law firm. I realized that was not the right fit. I transferred over to another law firm, realized that was not the right fit. And I ended up where I'm at now, which I'm very happy that I took the chance on waiting to find the firm that I felt their values aligned with mine.
What firm is that?
That's the Amaro Law Firm.
James? Yeah. Oh, it's nice.
Good choice.
Yeah.
We've all known James for a while. I've known him. We had a case together like 15 years ago.
I've met him a couple of times. I wouldn't say I know him, and he definitely would not remember or know me. I was sober at the time, so I didn't leave an impression.
He's doing great. We got big sign on the building over there. So that very, very glad you ended up with the MR law firm.
How many lawyers are over there?
Oh, we keep growing. Last I checked,
Just ballpark it for us.
15 now.
Yeah, dang. Okay, that's a big shot.
Between our pre-litigation department and we have
You have departments. That's when you know it's bona fide. That's a good shot.
So we have 2 separate litigation departments, and I'm on the side with James, and we have a whole other side. But I really enjoy it there.
We don't have size. We just have like over there and then wherever you're standing. It's a very small shop.
So, Michelle, we want to jump to, you got a verdict in a case as a litigant, which is pretty rare for guests. One, because we don't normally have guests that aren't lawyers on. But you had this bad and bizarre experience in San Antonio. I just want to give you the floor. Give us the basic facts of what happened, and then we'll ask some questions about the kind of legal stuff that went on.
Okay, so it was my first hearing as an attorney. So as GC, I didn't have a lot of hearings, right? But my brother needed representation on a family law matter. No good deed goes unpunished. So I went to go represent him. And after the hearing, the opposing counsel is standing in the foyer with myself and my dad. And I asked him, I was like, why were you so rude during the hearing? Like, why did you act like that? And he goes, well, I like to make the other side feel uncomfortable. And then he walks over to me and slides his hand around the small of my back in a very slow, creepy, gross manner, and then rests his hand on my hip. And I stand there and I don't really move, and I'm just like, did that just happen? So that passes. Later on, he comes up to me and he moves my hair from in front of my shoulder, and then again puts his hands around my shoulders. And I was like, well, this man just told me he tries to make the other side feel uncomfortable, so I'm not going to let him see me feel uncomfortable. So I didn't move. Well, then fast forward, I don't know how many minutes, our clients had been in a separate room trying to reach a resolution. They'd reached one. We drafted a Rule 11. I come out. Everyone's happy for the first time in 6 years. My brother and his ex-wife.
Same page, yeah.
Same page. There's peace. I hadn't seen her in 6 years. I go to shake his hand, and rather than shake my hand, he does a little reach around me and just
Gets a hand up.
gets a huge handful. And I didn't even realize this at the time, but I jumped up and I hit him, and he just scurried out the courthouse laughing.
Was he wearing a controversial tan suit? Kyle?
No.
No.
So how old was this gentleman in comparison?
Wait, this was in the courtroom or a courthouse?
House, yes, in the Wilson County Courthouse.
Oh.
What county?
Wilson County.
What's the county seat? Wilson.
Oh,
Bill, where's your iPad?
It's a flapper.
Yeah. Alexa. Okay, is it like a rural county or somewhere outside of San Antonio?
it's near Florenceville.
Siri, where's Wilson County, Texas?
Okay. Bill's doing some crack research as we.
So you are leaving a hotly contested hearing where this guy has just been aggressive and difficult. And then he walks out, he says, I like to intimidate opposing counsel, so I kind of act this way sometimes. And then he takes a couple of passes at you getting handsy, and then he grabs your behind.
Yes,
I may have missed this. How old was this gentleman?
late 60s,
Okay.
70s, and I think
Old enough to know better.
time.
Old enough to know better.
So my first experience in the courthouse.
So
Welcome to litigation.
what happens next?
Well, when that happened, I really couldn't believe that it happened. I was like, I
Yeah.
was kind of in shock. At the time, my dad had gone to get the car, so I didn't let him know right.
Your dad was just there for family support.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank God he didn't let him know in the moment.
Right, because we roll deep. We do. We always roll deep.
Yeah, deep state too with Dad, based on his prior, State Department work.
True. So on the way back to Houston, halfway through the drive, and my dad's feeling so proud of being there for my first hearing, being there for my brother, the final result of everything. I was like, Dad, I have to tell you something. And let me tell you, he instantly just pulled the car over. He was about to
Turn around. Yeah.
And I was like, no, stop. Like, I did not want to make a scene at the courthouse. I'm a new attorney. How is this going to impact how people view me?
That's what you thought?
Yeah. I mean, crazy.
In the moment, I guess.
So many things go through your mind.
Now, though, you're like...
Now I wish I had made a huge...
Production. Yeah.
So you tell your dad, when do you first report this to the authorities?
The next day.
Who do you report to? DA?
I called the sheriff.
Okay.
So,
And just reported, I guess, sex assault?
well, it's technically not a sexual assault because it's your buttocks. So sexual assaults will be anything between like breast, any kind of...
For a female. Or does male breast work too? Actually, real question.
That's a good question. I didn't look at that. But for females, it's your breast, genital area, and then it would have to be your anus.
So it's just a simple assault if he stays on the outside of the lip.
Yes.
So was he charged?
He was charged with assault, and then the assistant county attorney ended up giving him like a deferred
Slap on the wrist.
slap on the wrist. He
Sure.
said he told me
Didn't he have to donate like $300 or something? I read some of the facts of this. A few $100.
what happened was I went back to Wilson County because we were supposed to have a hearing.
Yeah.
So I get there, and the county attorney is like, there's no hearing today. We gave him a plea deal a few days ago.
Wow.
And you went all the way. I looked it up. It's called Lubbock?
No, it's close to San Antonio.
Okay. I didn't see.
Yeah, so we drove all the way out there. I was like, at any point, you knew I was coming. You could have notified me. It's like, sorry. And then he tells me that the attorney that did this, his name is Alan Manca, he says, well, he probably didn't know it was unwanted.
Who, the county attorney said that?
Yes.
One, very much appreciate you doxing the person that actually did it. I love whenever guests use names, and you're the first one that's ever actually done it. So thank you. Two, what was your response to that?
Well, I was there again with my dad.
Hold on. Were you driving in the car as this conversation happened?
We're in the courthouse.
Face to face.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I probably would have driven off the road, but
I would have driven
No,
quickly to the courthouse.
She had to come all the way.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we were there. I was there with my dad.
He said he didn't know it was unwanted.
My dad almost lost his shit.
Yeah. Justifiably.
He was escorted out of the courtroom.
Nice.
The bailiff.
Love that. Love Dad. Cheers to you.
It was unreal for him to even suggest that.
Is he? Are they like personal friends?
No. So the assistant county attorney at the time, I believe he's no longer practicing. His name is Christopher Rodriguez, and he was also an adjunct professor at St. Mary's. He is now living in LA because I looked him up because I do want to send him a copy of the verdict.
Sure. Why wouldn't you?
We'll find him. I have a great guy.
I already found him.
Okay, good. Thank God.
My dad.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah. Wasn't hard. Dad just kind of whistled in the wind and they found him.
Me. Now I know how to track people.
All right. So then I had to go to your bedside.
So the county attorney says, no big deal. This might have been a little bit your fault.
Look what you were wearing or
Whatever. No, this would be unwanted. But we find him whatever $300 or something.
Actually, it was 100, and then he made a $400 donation to, it was like a children's charity. The county attorney himself told me it was for a women's shelter or something like that. So after this happened, I decided to write a very scathing piece on my Facebook it was kind of like almost a journalistic type piece.
Sure.
And it was titled Serial Predator. Manca, gets a slap on the wrist. And the reason that I called him a serial predator was because when this initially happened, the butt grab, right?
I'm going to call it the sex assault. And if he wants to sue me, have it.
Oh, he called it on the stand the butt case. So we started referring to it as the butt case. But anyway, so I got on a women's attorney group on Facebook, and I asked
They have one of these? Is it like a...
just women.
That's not fair.
You're not allowed, you are.
No, I feel like I'm not allowed to start just a men's only. So I just wanted to point that out.
Oh, there's a lot fewer of us practicing law, so we have to...
That you know of? I'm just kidding.
Statistically speaking.
No, y'all can have your group.
Girls got a site called the He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah, it goes back to it's me and Alpha and Spanky. It's all the little rascals and me.
So you write this Facebook post.
Oh, well, okay. So I have to go back. I wrote that Facebook post calling him that, but it goes back to...
Pause real quick. Did you have any communication with him?
No.
Okay.
None.
Go ahead.
So going back to when this first happened, I went on to Girl Attorney in Texas. It's like, hey, ladies, this happened to me. How do I handle this? Because I still have to represent my brother. I have to draft up the Rule 11 that we wrote, What do I do? And I mean, even though I'd been practicing a little bit, I was still a baby attorney. I'd never had to handle anything like this before. And so we had over like 250 comments. And some of the women were like, he has done something similar to me. I know someone that he did that. Or he did do that to me. Or my, assistant. Yes.
How many women, because this is terrifying, not to me, but just in general, that you guys are this organized, which obviously you are because you're smarter than us. But how many members are in this group?
Nationwide or just Texas?
It's nationwide? Oh my gosh, this is yep.
Position is
Oh yeah, I got to keep moving.
Yeah. So you get a bunch of comments that he's done this before, then some recommendations about what you should
So filing a grievance.
Sorry.
So I reach out to the bar. First I call. I was like, hey, I'm in this situation. Do I have to keep working with this guy?
What year is this?
2019.
Okay.
And the response was, well, you have a fiduciary responsibility to your client, regardless of him being your brother or not, to see this through. And then after that, you don't have to deal with him anymore.
Joel, that's what the state bar said?
Whoever answered the phone when I called, yes.
Were they wearing an inappropriately tan suit, Kyle?
So that was it. There was no. Did you file a grievance, or did anyone file a grievance?
So I then wanted to go through the grievance process, and they were like, okay, it's actually a little bit more difficult than you would think, because when you file a grievance, you have to submit all of your proof all at once. It's not like
Just testimony
and finding things out. No, you submit it all at once. So I had called them. They were like, well, you need everything. I was like, well, I know there should be a video. This was in the courthouse. I still need to get that. So in the meantime, I'm hearing from other attorneys that actually do work in the disciplinary committee for the state bar. And they're like, Michelle, I'm going to let you know, unfortunately, nothing's going to happen. The worst that will happen for him is a private reprimand.
Private?
There's so many private reprimands, we don't even know about them.
No, I know. I've had a few. I'm just kidding. Maybe.
Yeah, you don't in the bar journal. You don't even see the name because it's private. So I don't know what that means.
As soon as the bar journal comes out, I go to the last page. I just want to see who got in trouble.
The problem was that this wasn't during an actual proceeding.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't in the courtroom itself. So all of our proceedings had already ended. I mean, we already reached a settlement.
I feel like that's a pretty ticky-tacky interpretation of those rules.
No shit.
I was on the ethics committee for 6 years. I kind of know Sam.
Hence all of my questions about tan suits.
Okay, so Michelle, criminal justice system doesn't do much to help you.
Yeah.
No,
So Texas State Bar doesn't do too much to address this.
useless.
So you then turn to the civil justice system. What made you decide to do that, and how did that come about?
So what happened was, as many good stories start, my oldest daughter was in 5th grade at the time, and I got a call from her school that she was having some issues. Some boys had been harassing her and grabbing her butt during PE. My daughter had reported it to the coach. Nothing had happened. And the school finally let me know when it became an issue. And so I asked my daughter, I was like, Mia, why didn't you let me know? She goes, Mom, well, I told my coach nothing happened. Like, it wasn't a big deal. And at that point, as her mother, as a woman, I was like, I need to be the example for her.
For sure.
And so if I don't stand up, if I don't make a big deal out of what happened to me, how can I expect my own daughter to do that? So I had just started working for the PI firm I was at, and I filed my own lawsuit. So I didn't. It was.
Did you have to go and get their blessing, or did you just do it?
I got their blessing.
And they were all like, absolutely, let's do it.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did that. Still new to the civil process. Didn't know what I was doing very much. And I thought really all I wanted was an apology. I would have taken an apology, just some.
Say you were wrong.
Yes.
And it's not okay.
Exactly. But that is not what happened. What happened was he ended up suing me for defamation, business disparagement, and tortious interference with contract.
That's where he made a mistake.
So you sued him,
Defamation law.
and he brought counterclaims.
Yes.
But and his counterclaims were based solely on your lawsuit filing, or maybe it's from Facebook posts.
Facebook post
Okay.
where I called him a serial predator.
Did you do it? When you called him that, was that on your personal, or was that on the Texas Women's Group
It
group?
was personal.
Okay. Was it public?
Yes.
Good for you. Good for you.
It was private. And then I had many people reach out and say, Michelle, will you please make this shareable?
Right.
And I did.
Did he?
Was it in everything you put in there was accurate?
100% accurate.
So-
Well, besides, it was in a woman's shelter, apparently. It was the $400 donation.
Oh, you got the donation person wrong. So that's why I sued you for defamation, because truth is defense.
That and calling him a serial predator.
And did he represent himself on the answer and counterclaim?
No, he was represented by a semi-new licensed attorney in San Antonio named Paul Burgess. He used to be an accountant or something.
Should have stayed there.
And he should have paid.
Yeah, he should have stayed in the county.
Really, nobody else wanted to take.
No, really?
Did you file a TCPA motion to dismiss anti-SLAPP?
Well, let me tell you what happened. I am fortunate enough that I have a lot of friends in the legal community that came to my rescue, that practice on the defense side. I know I'm on the PI side, but I do have a lot of defense practicing friends. And so one of my very good friends named David Jordan, he works over at Littler. He reached out to the firms and asked if he could take it on as a pro bono case. And they authorized it, and then they assigned 2 more attorneys.
Good. What firm is it with her?
Littler.
Littler. Oh, Littler. So yeah. Gotcha.
And then my friend, Melissa Sternfeld, she had just started working for another firm at the time. She asked them if she could also take it on pro bono, and they approved that.
Oh, so you got an army.
So I had 4 defense attorneys working on this, and let me tell you, they are amazing. Amazing. I loved watching them.
I mean, defense attorneys are okay.
I agree. I don't like.
I'm kidding. No, there's some good ones.
When those big firms take on a pro bono case,
Oh, they don't. Well, the hours that your pro bono hours that you bill go towards your billables for the year. That you got to hit that 2,000 or 1,800 mark. So they go full force.
Well, they did. So they filed an anti-SLAPP and
Nailed that one.
right.
91A2.
Yes. Well, you would think that the anti-SLAPP would have been a.
We get mandatory attorney's fees, so yes.
No, that was denied.
okay.
And this is you filed this what county?
Bexar County.
Okay.
It was a male judge that ruled on it. They have rotating.
Docket, yes.
So it was a visiting judge. He denied the anti-SLAPP, even though this was like the definition of an anti-SLAPP case. And he granted the 91A because of defamation, only has a 1-year statute of limitation.
Correct.
And he filed his pleadings 2 weeks too late.
So close.
So the grant of the 91A, I think the judge has no discretion but to award attorneys.
No, 91A, you have discretion. Anti-SLAPP, you do not. It's mandatory for sure.
91A used to be mandatory.
Award
Yeah,
attorney's fees.
you can, but
He did not.
For the 91, he
he did not.
did not.
What a dick.
Did he award attorney's fees on the anti-slap?
No, because he
That was
denied it.
denied.
That was denied. He can't. Well, he can. But once he denied it, he has discretion to give attorney's fees the other way.
Right.
But no attorney's fees awarded.
Either way.
Well,
Okay, so case proceeds in the process. Like, he gives discovery.
you would think. So what happened was, then he went and filed a motion for reconsideration. That was denied.
Yeah, judges don't like it when you tell them they're wrong. Do it again.
Yeah, but then the hearing again was with a different judge.
Oh, yeah, you're a rotating docket.
Every
That's true.
single hearing was with a different judge. And then he filed a motion for new trial. That was denied. They're like, you can't file a motion for new trial because this was a counterclaim to an existing
Yeah, we haven't had a trial.
case. Exactly.
No, Charlie
So then he filed a motion to sever. And
Can't.
can't do that.
Yeah, you can in that specific. You can sometimes, not in that scenario.
No, because it was directly related.
Yeah, and it's all the same cause of action or same facts.
And then after that, this year,
This year?
I mean, all of that took about 2.5 years
Right.
fighting the defense. It was just ridiculous.
Did you get to depose him or anything?
We get there.
Did you do? I do have a question. When the TCPA was denied, you have a right to an interlocutory. Did you exercise the appeal?
We did not.
Okay,
We did not.
just curious.
We were granted the 91A. We wanted to just,
Sure.
take our win.
It's a motion to dismiss anyway, so you're good.
So then this year, he filed a second amended petition to his non-existent case.
Claiming what?
Exactly.
If you need any help, call me. No.
She's already won.
Oh, you went to trial, right?
The lead.
No, yeah, we went to trial in September.
Okay.
Yes, September.
But the second amended petition that he filed where he tried to revive these claims that had been dismissed, how did the judge deal with that?
Well, we actually requested sanctions, and those sanctions were denied.
Judges don't like sanctions, even when you're doing them for the right reason and the right rule. 37?
The problem with this attorney is he was, again, trying to practice the way that Malka practices in abusing the judicial system to...
Well, isn't that the way the family courts work? There's no res judicata. You just keep filing the same nonsense over and over and over and over. And over.
Wait, so that's just the way the family question. So because this all started in a family court, is that where it landed?
No.
Okay, I was about to say, okay, gotcha.
Okay, and I'll say this. I feel like y'all are interrupting a little bit. I get accused of this at home all the time, so I'm now very sensitive to it.
We know, Peter.
Yeah.
It's all good. I mean, it's very surprising the way all of this went down. It's not the typical type of case. You have attorney against attorney with an idiot attorney representing the wrong attorney, and then you have the A team representing me. So everything that the idiot attorney did, it was just like, it's so baffling because you're wondering, did you even go to law school? Do you know how to practice law besides trying to throw everything, in the kitchen sink? Massey with sticks.
So trial is in September.
Trial was in September. Let's backtrack it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
We had mediation in July,
Court ordered or voluntary?
court ordered.
Okay.
And he wanted $1 million from me.
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
What a dick.
And so that didn't happen.
You
It
didn't
happened. At the end of the day, he said he would settle for a mutual release. And again, I was very confused. I was like, I don't understand because you don't have a case against me. So nothing happened. We went to court. It was a 5-day trial. It was long and miserable. And let me tell you, as an attorney, having to be the plaintiff and sitting on the stand, it is not fun.
Sure.
It is horrible. It's a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Everything you say is scrutinized. Your whole life is scrutinized. Every action you took is questioned under a microscope. It's really unfair, right? So I think,
What was the gist of their defense? Curiosity.
One, they wanted to start off with a friction of generations,
Good luck with that.
because
he's old and
He's old.
misunderstanding.
Okay.
Old guys used to do that. Hey, no, they be
Yeah, this is we did. I was licensed in the 80s. That's what we did.
or dire. The opposing counsel starts out, he goes, hey, does anyone ever watch Mad Men?
Oh no, that's all. And Mad Men is already dated.
right.
So there's one potential juror, and he stands up and he's like, are you trying to say that we need to excuse him because of
Love that guy. He's getting straight.
where? Well, the judge ended up letting him go because he had to work. But so then he's like, no, that's not the excuse we're using. We just wanted to know if, people would understand.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you watched the show.
So that was one.
That was fun.
Two, I know there was a I didn't do it defense.
He absolutely denied that it ever happened, even though it's on camera. It's on video.
Oh, you have the video too.
I did have
The courthouse had video. And did he know that before he tried to take us?
Yes, he's seen the video, but what,
Yeah, we have Discovery.
Yeah.
what he says happens. See, you see me put my hand out to shake his hand, but then you see him lean behind me and go down, and then I jump up and kind of smack him on the chest, and he runs out. You don't actually see the ass grab.
Because of the angle.
Exactly.
Okay.
So he says that he was leaning in to hear me because he wasn't wearing his hearing aid.
Sure.
So in his deposition, when he was asked, well, if you had done that, would it have been appropriate? He says, well, I really don't know what she gets off to.
Oh my! Wait. Let's back up a second. He said it under oath. That was his answer.
Oh, yes. And then he said that again on the stand.
Wow.
I gotta give it to this guy, right? Like
He's dedicated.
like you pick attack, and you never retreat.
You can't. You've dug in too far at that point. But holy shit!
This guy's got to be like a Lothario, like a really good-looking guy who can sell this to a jury,
I
right?
know.
No,
He looks like you, Kyle.
that's terrible.
These are all opinions, of course.
Of mine.
It's
No, we can say he's not good looking.
he's not good looking. We'll leave it at that.
That's fine. That's opinion.
So that was one of his defenses. Another one was that I'm crazy. And literally hit
Are you crazy?
Everybody's a little crazy.
my
Mostly.
maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't. Yeah, he's not a good character witness.
Exactly. So what his opposing his attorney during closing, he's like, what, she's crazy. And literally like
What?
puts his hat. It was such a crazy trial. I can't wait to get the transcript. Because so many things were said during this trial that people cannot believe it was actually said.
Has the bar looked at him subsequent to the news reporting of your verdict?
I don't think so. We're still waiting for entry of the judgment because in San Antonio they don't have. You do it by submission.
What is going on? What is going on?
Yeah, you have to do a prove-up hearing. I've done it before. You have to do a prove-up hearing even if you dismiss on a settlement. What? They'll do it on Zoom, but still,
whatever.
yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
He's requested an hour.
He requested oral argument on the.
No, there was already. You had to appear for the hearing, but he's requested an hour.
To say what? The interest rate that they're applying is too much?
I
What was the verdict? We haven't even got there yet. What is the verdict?
Yeah, so the verdict, the causes of action that were submitted to the jury, was it assault, simple,
assault, mental anguish.
okay, mental anguish damages. So the jury answered yes or no on assault. They answered yes. And then on damages, what did they answer?
Well, they first awarded $3 million for past mental anguish and $2 million for future mental anguish.
Oh,
Okay.
did the judge remit or what? You said the first. So it's,
Well, I mean, the first is the past.
Oh, the first question, yeah.
Second,
So for a total from $5 million bucks.
And plus interest.
that's interesting.
and court costs.
And the current status is there's a motion to enter judgment that's been filed by your attorneys, and he's fighting that or opposing that.
He's going to fight that, and he's already stated that he is going to appeal it.
Can I just ask if whether or not this court live streams? Because I would love to watch the Wearing Liz Hirschman because I don't know what's going to be said.
So they were actually Zooming at the beginning. of the hearing, but then a lot of people started getting yeah. And opposing counsel made a big deal that this might be a social media issue. So after my brother, who was testifying from Panama, the judge shut it down. So
The stream. There's no doubt this is a social media issue. I just missed in the Texas Rules of Civil Procedure and Evidence where that's an actual thing.
Now, however, I think for the actual hearing, because I cannot be there in person, I need to be on via Zoom.
Can we have a watch party? Can I just like stand over you and just watch the screen?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So
How quickly did the jury take their deliberations?
So we actually spoke to some of the jurors after, and entire deliberations took 3 hours. But the question was not about whether or not I was going to get anything. They said it was about how much. So some jurors wanted to award more, some a little bit less. And
what did you ask for?
Yeah, that's a good question. What was the closing argument asked?
Those are lawyers.
Yeah, what did they ask for?
that's so messy.
I asked for 20, so there's no number that's going to offend me.
Again, so many of my stories begin with what happened was Laura Brock,
Yeah, great lawyer.
a great lawyer, she did the first closing. And I do not recall what she asked for mental anguish, but for punitives, she asked for $1 million. And
Did they didn't award punitives?
we missed it by one juror.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it wasn't unanimous. Okay.
Yeah, one juror wasn't sure if it amounted to malice.
Okay. Sometimes people are just confused.
And it's okay, because...
They lit him up on the actuals.
And so during opposing counsel's closing, he was so vulgar and disgusting in his
Defense.
and attack on me that Javier Espinosa, another great attorney from Espinosa Brock, so Laura Brock and Javier,
Yep.
he gets up there and he goes, I was upset. I was going to say increase that punitive to $5 million. But screw that. Award her $25 million.
I don't hate that move at that point. What and so $5 million in actual damages past and future, and then interest in court costs is going to kick it to 6.
A lot. It'll be a lot.
Yeah.
It's over 6.
Yeah. So then,
But don't you have a major collectability problem if some...
No, you don't, because then you're just going to go into bankruptcy.
Well, the thing is also,
And his firm's insured, and that's covered.
it's not intentional to another.
Oh, it's not. It's intentional.
Yeah, it's not.
so
I named him personally and his firm.
Good.
and the
Because we had crushers.
Did they split?
no, the question is just he's solo family lawyer primarily, and the question is he's got to post a bond if he wants to appeal that, and doesn't sound like that's going to be
10%. He's got to put up.
You would no.
Had a million bucks.
I looked into this, y'all. If you can't afford that, it will actually go based off of your net worth.
and you got to submit all that.
You do.
And what's his net worth? Nada.
But I know again, doing my own little investigative work, found that he does have another property.
And it's not in an LLC?
No.
So he's a terrible lawyer. In my opinion, Rabbi Ranch outside of Bandera, that's 3 acres. Welcome to 1.2 acres in
I wish it was.
Vernon.
It's not.
Bernie's nice.
But
1.2 is even nicer.
after what they put me through, sitting on that stand, because I was on the stand for over a day.
How long do they crush you for?
Over a day.
A day. Like the cross was a day. Full day. And it was so ugly and humiliating on their, I mentioned
I don't know,
a neck attack.
$5 million is...
What's the name of the defense lawyer again?
Paul Burgess.
Paul Burgess. I'm going to Google
But
Paul.
He goes, you mentioned that you were left to die when they slit your throat, but you weren't really left to die.
Oh, fuck off.
I was like,
Sheepers, squeefers.
I mean, he goes, in your own words, they didn't slit your jugular. I was like, well, if they had slit my jugular, I'd be dead. It missed my jugular by 2 millimeters.
Why are we even talking about that?
Exactly.
Well, they're talking about the mental anguish, like that it was a pre-existing condition.
Couldn't have been that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Michelle,
If you need someone to do a post-judgment mediation,
Call me. Peter is a great mediator. No, and Peter gets deals done, and that's what he does. You put him on a payment plan.
I was going to say, Michelle, no, that took a lot of guts to do that. And
Yeah.
not just let it go. I know, not just in, female, a lot of people are treated poorly and they just let it go and march on. And that kind of behavior is tolerated. And so I appreciate you utilizing the civil justice system when the other criminal in our bar did not seem like they took care of the problem. So I respect what you did and admire your fortitude to go through all that. And it sounds like you at least got a vindication from the jury. I hope ultimate vindication through the rest of the process.
Now that we're watching the election end and the news cycle is going to slow down, we should talk after because journalists love me. And this is definitely newsworthy.
Yeah, I would, how do I not know this? I'm in this community. I don't understand why I don't know the story.
Or that happened during trial. The transcript is literally crazy. The stuff that was said out of the defendant and his counsel's mouth was so reprehensible. It's disgusting.
Is Paul Burgess out of San Antonio?
Yes.
All right.
And actually, he's a PI attorney.
No shit.
Yes, shit.
So the
I feel like calling him.
Yeah.
Pete, call him real quick. Let's
no, I mean, I'm disappointed in the bar.
100%. And we can, and I'm sure obviously because of the conversation we had earlier where you were shaming me for not being involved enough, enough powerful people to make sure that the bar doesn't make this mistake to the next woman that has to do this. And I appreciate you for standing up for me.
And you shouldn't have to know powerful people in the bar.
At all. Everybody in the bar should be powerful enough to stand up and say, this is fucking wrong.
Yeah.
They should. But, honestly, I am appreciative that this happened to me because I do have the resources. Anybody else? They don't. I mean, this happened on video. What happens to all of the women that do not have video evidence?
Yeah. It goes with a $100 fine and a $400 fine to
Exactly.
whatever charity we're going to, even if we misstate it.
So one of the things that I really try to do is increase our women that are practicing attorneys. I'm also the Women's Caucus Chair for the Houston Trial Lawyers Association.
Are you speaking at conferences about this? Because you should be. TTLA needs to hear about it.
I am not, but
And although we have thousands upon thousands of listeners that are all members of TTLA, I'm sure, at this show, they should hear it live at a conference because this is upsetting.
Yeah.
I think the way that many women, even up we're 2024, still deal with issues. I've had professors ask me to speak to some of their students.
I thought you were about to get
Yeah, they've are working at law firms or clerking at law firms and have some issues and ask me to speak to them because of what they're dealing with. So in today's day and age, we are still dealing with a lot of these issues.
Well, Ali, I agree there is a generational issue that underlies this. It's not a fucking excuse. So I agree with that. But because I remember my law school class, the South Texas was super proud that we were the first majority female class to go through the school. And so I think that our profession is having a shift more towards that equality. But yeah, I before that, and I mean, the older you get, the less women were in those classes. So,
and women, they would get discouraged from
for sure,
range practice.
you're going to get blackballed. And
That was one of my
ever.
It really was. And when I've spoken to some of the more seasoned female attorneys,
They had it bad.
they had it. It was horrible.
I have a lot of respect for any female attorney over the age of 40, 50. I don't even know what the age gap is, but there's a line where I kind of appreciate what they had to go through to get there.
But one of the things that I am grateful for is our counterparts, right? Because we need our male counterpart support. Without it, we won't get anywhere.
Yeah. And you mention the lawyers who represented you again, the pro bono and everyone.
Give them their props.
We had pro bono. We had David Jordan from Littler. There was 2 other attorneys, and I right now.
That's fine. You're on the spot. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can text us. We're throw their names up on the screen.
They both practice in Austin. They're amazing women. And Melissa Sternfels, she just started her own practice, or she's, let's say, within the last 6 months with a couple other partners. Amazing attorney. Let me tell you, these are some badasses. Paul Burgess hated them.
I don't doubt that.
Hated them because they have no mercy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're so cool, calm, collected, and they fight for what they really believe in. And my plaintiff's attorneys, I forgot to mention, my first attorney that represented me was Laura Tamez, but she was elected as the TTLA president. So she asked if she could pass on the case over to Laura Brock, because she was, she had a lot of obligations. And Laura Brock from Espinosa Brock and Javier Espinosa, they took it to trial. And so I'm very grateful for the support, the friendship, and just everything they did, because it was not an easy case.
Yeah, for sure. Well, so Michelle, anyone wants to hire you as their lawyer, they can find you at the Amaro Law Firm website.
amarolawfirm.com. And I'm Michelle Acosta. And, you know,
Yeah. Well, Kyle's introed it because we haven't had someone who's been through as the plaintiff.
Yeah.
And I think when you're talking to your clients, when you tell them, look, I've been there, that's unique. Yeah, there's what it's like to actually be in the witness seat, being cross-examined, having your life turned upside down by a lawyer on cross. I mean, you know what it's like. And so I think that's really important for your clients.
Thank you.
For sure.
Anyone else?
I was just going to say, thanks for coming on. It's an interesting situation for us, but deeply personal for you. And so thanks for sharing what you went through, and sorry you had to go through that, but it's a really interesting story.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it. And I appreciate all of your all's time tonight.
You got it. If you, like we said, go to amarolawfirm.com to find Michelle's contact information if you want to hire her or co-counsel with her on a case. Otherwise, if you like us, follow us. Spotify, YouTube. I didn't say YouTube last time, Bill. Apple Podcasts, TikTok, Instagram. I don't think I said that either.
You did.
And that's about it. Anywhere you get your podcasts, follow us, The Dirty Verdict.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
All right. We'll see you guys. Good night.